Doug, tell us about the cohort process that you use.
Yeah.
Touch on
So
affordable housing and touch on your work in
yeah,
the.
yeah. So actually, in the toward the end of the 1990s, I met some people at a group called NeighborWorks America. It's what's known as an intermediary in the field of affordable housing and anti-poverty. Uh, they uh, they have two arms. One arm are their member groups. Another arm are training institutes that anybody, whether members or not, affordable housing, anti-poverty groups can attend. Uh, they uh, told me that long-standing executive directors of these nonprofit groups were increasingly saying to NeighborWorks, these training institutes are great, but there's nothing for us. And they asked me what they might do about that. Could they create a leadership program? And I gave them the same answer that I always give when people ask me that question is, ugh, I am not interested in a leadership program, okay, where people go and hear great thoughts. I think that's wonderful for its own purposes, but it doesn't change anything. So they said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, here's what we'll do. We're going to create a 18-month program. The people who come, they'll be individuals, but they're not coming to work on their personal growth as leaders. They've got to come with a challenge, what I called a challenge. You can call initiative, project, strategy, whatever. But they had to come with a challenge that had to be one of the two or three most crucial things facing their enterprise in the coming years, not themselves as individuals, their enterprise. We had some other criteria, which I'd be happy to go into. We're going to then use the performance-driven change methodology to help them and their colleagues at work make progress, set goals and make progress against success at those challenges. We will provide coaches, or what strategic doing calls guides, to help the leaders and their colleagues succeed. We're going to we're going to break them into 5 different groups of roughly 8 to 10, where they share progress on a continual basis, and a few other things. So that was an architecture that if you're listening carefully, was intended to seriously increase the odds that these very crucial challenges for 40 to 50 different enterprises across the country would be successful, which they were.
Mhm.
But underneath that was a strong belief. The strong belief was that when people came together and held each other accountable for progress on their different challenges, in which they were all using a common language and set of methods, they would start forming relationships with one another that made possible collaboration toward changing things larger than the individual organizations. Now, I'll share with you that this was housed at Harvard, which is an extraordinarily amazing institution. So please, I'm going to share something. I mean no disrespect, but it's an observation about the nature of our world. When the group first came together for the very first week, a few of the Harvard professors were very upset. And they came to me and said, they're not talking about changing affordable housing. We need to change affordable housing. We've got a crisis in this country. We want them, we don't want them to do these organization challenges. We want them to change the world, to change the field. And I said, be patient, please. One of the criteria, as I mentioned, was your challenge had to be one of the 2 or 3 most crucial things facing your enterprise. Trust me, existing organizations rarely have as one of their top 2 or 3 partnering with other organizations.
Mhm.
It's just not in the cards, given the scarcity of time and attention and so forth. I told the professor, just be patient. And sure enough, 10, 12 months into the program, we started seeing groups who now had incredible respect for one another and for the respect for the challenge of real change, talking about doing real things together in twosies, threesies, and foursies, not all 40 to 50, which is what the Harvard people wanted to do. And 20 some years later, this program still continues. There are literally hundreds upon hundreds of groups that have been through it. And the field of affordable housing in the United States is transformed.